of this just isn't good enough. We've got all these people that want to play the game, but they can't play because they don't have the cards, and why would they want to play at a disadvantage? Multiple people in the US, most of the UK, and almost all of Australia just don't have access to Lifestream because the distributors didn't receive it. So we're all waiting on cards, we're waiting in limbo. And does that mean that we don't play the game? Does that mean we just miss out on a few premieres? No, people want to get their qualifying points and their Premier Pack 2 prizing. So you want to be able to enter, you want to be able to do well. And I want to talk about the cards that are not in Lifestream that are still good, or the decks that are still playable outside of Lifestream. First thing I want to look at here is these are the cards that I think are the big winners or big changes from the transition to Lifestream that were available in other sets, like Lavalith. Now with all this like extra centralization of back row and like artifact runes, divine runes, Lavalith is better. There's a lot more stadiums in play, there's more divine runes in play. Lavalith has gotten better. The opening play for Aphrodite is to put out a, Tadpuff into Locagon into Aphrodite to search the next Locagon and put out. Obviously, they're not doing that turn one. But you know what I mean, right? They're doing that. They're putting a lot of spirits on the board, and Lavalith plays really good into that Locagon board. It takes out a back row, even if it's just the Aphrodite, and then if that back row isn't Gorgons or PTA, it can then try and clear one of those Locagons. So I think Lavalith is definitely a big winner of this format. Even against Solar, they're putting out a lot of spirits. They've got that 5-body in Corvashine now. You want to be able to get over that. Lavalith does that beautifully. Galaxy, this works against removing Corvashine. This works against removing the fish. And then also pretty much all the Blizzstrix stuff that isn't a Blizzstrix itself dies to this. This is a card that hasn't seen a lot of play, despite the fact that it is one of the better cards of the format. So I'm kind of surprised with that one, but I guess people have just moved away from it. But if you're stuck on Firestorm still, this card is still just as good, if not better, than it was in Firestorm. The next thing is Arcalith. This card has always been great. There's never been a time or a format where this card wasn't amazing. And it is better now because, again, the water deck is putting out 2 guys in attack position all the time. The Blizzstrix deck is putting out a little more guys. Arcalith is really good, especially if you're on the Mono Thunder list with the field spell. This is an 11, and that clears most threats. Most. Rhinosect is an 8. I think that it's important to note that the Blizzstrix stuff does kind of cap out at 7 if they don't have the field spell, and they're a little less inclined to play the field spell in the field spell meta. You don't want to play it and then have someone put a Supercell or a Temple of the Sun over it, and then you've got no field spell for the rest of the game. So people will hold it. This means that when they're holding it, your Rhinosect is going to clear more things. I think Rhinosect is better this format. It is important to note that Rhinymph doesn't target, I believe. Could be misremembering that. Let's have a look at the little guy. Yeah, doesn't target. So this is just a really good card here. It's always been a good card. It's just, I feel 8 is a really nice point to have a 2-drop at right now. It's just so hard to clear. I was playing Blizzstrix. I tried to go a little harder on the aggression in exchange for not playing the field spell, because I was like, why would I want to play the field spell which is going to get removed? I'm getting it for a turn at most. And I found that an 8 completely ruined me. Same if you're on the water deck. An 8 is usually a big Stonewall. And then Solar, it's a bit iffy. Usually they just remove whatever you're up against. Heliolith, again, it's a good card. If you're playing artifacts, it's good. I think this might have been better last set because you are more likely to come across artifacts. There's a lot less of that going around right now. But maybe it should just be inside. Maybe it goes as a side deck card. Non-targeting bounce, very nice, very nice. Toxiri, this is one of the huge winners of this format. Toxiri and Dense Fog are crazy, okay? Everyone should be main decking 3 Dense Fog right now, okay? It is Gorgon's Gaze, 4, 5, and 6. It's a blanket effect. It hits almost everything. It is so good. Okay, Corvishine, you don't get the extra mills. Celestleo, you can't pop. Nebuleo can't foretell. Leobrite can't foretell. The fish return to their default stats. The Lockagons can't heal and pop things. The weak Lockagon returns to its default stats. The Blistric stuff can't mill. The Thunder stuff, the Supercell stuff, they can't get all their buffs. They can't special from deck. It is so good right now. Every deck has something that loses to this card, except even Luna. Sorry, even Luna has something that loses to this card. Because if you watch my match, you can do a Dense Fog dance to dodge Norby, so Norby can't ascend. So just keep that in mind, that even in the Luna matchup, if they're on Norby, this has utility, okay? It's not as dead as it seems when you go, oh, they've played a Formlet turn 1. Because if their turn 2 is a Norby, Dense Fog is now able to not quite suppress the Norby, but pseudo-suppress the Norby. And I think it's important that people are aware of the fact that it isn't completely dead if you're main decking it, and you do run into that Luna matchup. It's not amazing, but it's better than nothing. Okay, it does something. Obviously, you just side that shit out so fast if you're in the Luna matchup. And yeah, Toxira being able to search it, and then Toxira giving this the buff of the neg2 to the board while the Dense Fog is active is also just massive. Alright, I think these two cards are so good right now. If you're stuck in Firestorm meta and you can't get access to Lifestream Cards, shove these in your deck anyway. Alright, this will be a big help. On the same vein, Specteris is great right now. Okay, all these things like the fish and stuff, the Lockagon, they buff themselves. They make themselves bigger. They put big number up. And Lockagon just says no to that. Specteris says no to that. If you've got a Toxiri on field as well, it's a 7. Alright, this card is crazy. Big fan of this card. It's also really big if you Dense Fog, right? If you Dense Fog and they've got like 4 guys, or even if they've got 2 guys, he becomes a 6. A 7 if he attacks something else. Like, very good card. If you've got things on board when you Dense Fog that are not like Luna, it still buffs this guy. Okay, this card is so good right now. I think these are the 3 best cards coming into this set compared to where they were last set. Just insane cards, going from absolutely no playability to just mainstay in every deck. Crazy card. Big fan of it. I really should put the thing up on what was played for artifacts and stuff and see if Dense Fog did make it. Because not artifacts, but runes. Just see if Dense Fog made it, because this card is so good, so good. You could talk about this card for hours. Eruption. Every deck is going a little more all in on their spirits right now, so we're all paying a little more for everything. If we're playing live stream, everything costs more. You can easily put yourself into eruption range by mistake. If you are playing a fire deck or have room for eruption, it's fine to main or side. Like, if you're playing like a deck that can main it, sure, go for it. There will be games you steal. I lost a game at the last Premier because the guy was on eruption. I had to like Dense Fog the small Tuga so he couldn't search eruption, and then next turn I had no way to stop him just searching eruption. And I'm like, I'm down to 4 spirits. This is going to ruin me. Again, Blistrix goes all in, and the other decks do spend a little more. Like, as much as Thunder heals, their initial investment is very high. So sometimes you can catch people off guard. Same with like Warfrost. Any Ice deck playing Ice Age, you will easily catch them off guard with this. Tornado. This isn't a huge one. It is kind of cool though. If they load up a Divine with like 4 spirits, you can just put that shit back to their hand. They lose all those spirits. It's a really good tempo play. Hermes. Hermes now, the opening play for a Hermes deck is like Spinosect for Hermes, put 4 on the Hermes. They'll like mulligan once first, and then yeah, they'll put 4 on the Hermes, send 2 to grave to send the new Aviolith, and they'll put 6 on the Hermes, right? and it's already used its effect, so it's going to end the turn with 6 on it. If you just tornado that, they've just lost 6 spirits for nothing. They've done nothing at all in terms of value. So good. Tornado, maybe you want to side it, but it is so funny right now. You can hit Apollo with it because they are over enchanting their Apollo. You can hit Aphrodite with it because they're kind of over enchanting it. You can hit Artemis with it, and that's important if you're against that stupid Posthumus. I don't think the deck is good, but the deck can absolutely steal games. If your opponent just sees a lot of back row, which now that Hurricane is gone, is a lot easier for them to just stock up on back row. They can just stall the game out long enough to get the Posthumus out. It's very difficult to remove in the current meta because most decks are trying to like use Elestral effects to remove stuff. So yeah, very, very important. Oh, I completely forgot one of the other cards that should be in here. Before I forget, we're gonna find it. That'll go in the side deck section. Alright. Winjin to an agent. This duo is obviously seeing a lot of play because of Solar. Obviously foretelling is just like a big thing right now. That's cool. But the most important thing here is the Tornagent being an 8. Alright. 8 is just, again, same concept as Rhinosect. 8 is really good. If your opponent is on Solar, it's a 9 if they've got the field spell out, which is somewhat often they search it just to play it for a pop. If they've already used the pop and you can stick the Winjin to an agent, very good. Unfortunately, Soul it right now, stocks are down. Hydrake stocks in the gutter. Do not play Hydrake right now. I love Hydrake, I love Pantera, but as long as this card is around, I just don't think it's a good idea. Same with like all the Solar popping. Yeah. Laurels, for all the reasons I said that Lavalith and Eruption and Tornado are good, this is good right now. This is so good right now. I've always had the mindset of don't play resting on your laurels because it says that at some point I'll be losing. It is a losing mindset. At the moment, that doesn't matter because even if you're in a winning position, let's say you've got 2 Magnaros on board or whatever you're playing out of this format. You've got 2 guys on board and they've got like their Hermes Spinosect set up. You're still way down on field spirits to them and you can just remove a guy. It's just a 1-drop that removes a Celestia. The second a Celestia hits the board, it's going to try and take your whole board with it, and this does clap back on it if it's all they've got on the field. So, very good card. Gorgon's Gaze, this has gotten better. Really good last format. This is really good. Since release is still really good. This is not a card that will ever get worse that I can foresee. So, very good. Pandora's Box, though, this is a card you should consider main decking. Every deck is playing into Pandora's Box right now, and you can absolutely just main deck this. It's fine. I don't think there's a deck that this doesn't hit. It's not the greatest back row, but it is in the top 5, I feel. I feel like it is a very good back row universally. Artemis, for the same reasons that Dense Fog is really good right now, Artemis, I feel, is a really good card right now. Just because, like, if you could suppress the Celestleo, that's it. It's not hitting you next turn. It's going to be very annoying for them. I think I had someone Artemis my Blistrix recently, like 3 turns in a row, and it's like, dude, I just need the removal spell, man. And like that'll buy you a few turns to like set up your board and things like that because they're just attacking. They're not popping your cards. If you've got like a back row and you Artemis their Celestleo or their Blistrix or whatever, they don't want to attack into the shield that they could remove if they don't get Artemis next turn. So it makes them a lot more hesitant and it makes it really seem like whatever Ambrosia you've got set is just a shield. And they often can't take that risk because they lose the game to the shield. Specterus, again, Dense Fog is really good right now. Artemis is good right now. This card is just a free special if you've Dense Fogged their guys, which does come up if you're main decking the Dense Fog. Even if they Dense Fog you and they've got a guy on the field, you can still Specterus on top of that. I think that's quite cute. I think there's definitely merit to remembering that if they've got a guy that isn't Luna when they dense fog you, you can then just drop a Specterus. So Luna fans rejoice. If you're stuck with Firestorm, Luna is kind of the way to go. And dense fog, just phenomenal. Now, the ban list did come out since I originally planned to do this video. I'm glad I hadn't recorded it yet. Aviolith and Gloombat. Aviolith is huge. I mean, I could be wrong on this. I could be wrong on any of this, really. But I feel like Aviolith is huge right now because Rabbit set 4 pass is now good again. Like, do you remember Daybreak when Rabbit set 4 pass was just like, I lose this game? Well, now if they Rabbit set 4 pass, you can Aviolith draw 4. That seems kind of good to me. I think draw 4 for 2 spirits and get a guy that is is kind of big, kind of hard to remove. Very good, very good. Maybe side deck it, maybe main deck it. I think this card is really good right now because people will just play into it. There's not really much reason not to play into it. So yeah, and then Gloombat, same sort of thing. If you're trying to drop a Cracking or any other Luna Ascension, or just a nondescript Ascension like Rhinosect that doesn't need to be correctly enchanted, Gloombat's great. Your opponent's going to be setting 2 or more very often now, because obviously they want to play around Thunderstorm, Tornado, all that sort of stuff. You could just go Gloombat, and you can either remove one or ascend over the top of it. It's up to you. Very good card. I want to have a look at things that are better for the side deck as well. But yeah, these are the things that I think are really good for the main deck, and I will go through a few deck lists and just make some quick adjustments and see what I can do. Obviously, I'm not the expert on any of this sort of stuff. I'm just giving my opinions because I think with so many people unable to access Lifestream, we need to do something to, give those people an idea of what to play. Anyway, for the side deck, Gloombat is still kind of good. I think against Solar, you still want it to take out the Celestia, but if you're against Water, they're putting out so many guys, this card becomes less good even though they're getting out big guys. Same with Blisterix. Yeah, cool, it can kill a Blisterix or an Aspral or an Iwoolly, but what about the second Blisterix, Aspral or Iwoolly that goes alongside it? So some matchups, it's definitely worse. But I think with Celestia running around, it is an out to Celestia, and thus it should see play. Shield of Achilles. This card, I'm saying, is no longer good for the main deck. Dense Fog has completely removed this, not because Dense Fog is doing the same thing or anything, but Dense Fog is doing something with this card, and that is activating at any time. A Celestia hits the board and you've got just a Shield of Achilles, you've lost the game. Because of things like that, where, because of exclusively Celestia right now, I feel, and also just the amount of removal right now that pops things before you attack, even if it pops Elestrals before you attack. If I've removed every Elestral you've got, I attack with my guy and you put it back to my hand, you've lost a lot of spirits still, more than I was even intending for you to lose, and you still don't have a board to establish anything, and I can just establish my big guy again the next turn. So Shield is kind of not in the best spot right now, but it butchers Artemis. So do be siding it. There are some things that do not like to be shielded still. So yeah, I think it is time to regulate Shield to the side deck. PTA is a little better than this right now because you can at least guarantee a removal. Even though it is very costly, because 9 times out of 10, anything you think is worth PTAing is still going to smack you in the face before you kill it. It's yeah, nice work PTAing my Celestia. You've taken 7 damage from 1 card this turn. That's fine. Plus, you still get the Celestia effect and all that sort of stuff. However, Shield, you don't even get to remove the Celestia. So I'd say Shield is not as good right now. Tsunami. Phenomenal card in any matchup that isn't Lockagon. Lockagon is obviously the most represented deck right now because it is 1-2 events. Expect Lockagon very often, or even other water variants, but it's pretty much just Lockagon and the fish. This card does nothing to them. Okay, it's a kind of swarmy deck. It does go a little wide, especially the fish. The fish go wide, and because of that, Tsunami is just not good. You can't use it against them. So good against Blisterix, so good against other swarmy decks like the Thunder stuff. very good because all the Thunder stuff has low defense. Just an insta side in against decks like that go wide, but against anything else, it's not that good. Also, back on the shield topic, sorry, 1-for-1 removal right now is not amazing because if they put out 2 Lockagons and you shield one, the other one still domes you, and then like that doesn't really help. Same with like Celestleo. If you shield like the Celestleo because for whatever reason it missed, they've usually got something else on the field that will attack, and the Celestleo just comes back later. So that's another reason I don't like shield right now, is because it is just 1-for-1 hitting, and it doesn't do enough. It doesn't hit often enough. Sport Fruit. This card is really good. It says buy Locagon. It does destroy it, yeah. This card ruins the Lockagons. That's pretty much the only reason to play it. There's probably other stuff I just don't remember. But very good, very good. I think it also hits the field spell, the Supercell, but I don't know if that's as good. Because we also have Monsoon of Iris. This card is so good. It's Dense Fog, but it hits Luna, and it hits back row. The only thing it doesn't hit is obviously, water and wind. Wind's not in the best place right now because Dense Fog exists. Water, well, that's why we sided. Otherwise, we'd probably be maining it if water wasn't so strong. This card, really good. Big fan of this. You can also re-enchant your Windjin with it. Very good card. I think that this is a very strong staple to try and put a side card to put in. Sirocco of Notice. We saw this actually like in one of the top decks at, I think it was the last Premier. This card just says your opponent doesn't attack this turn unless they're on Wind or Fire, which are not prominent decks right now. Because if my opponent's gone wide, let's say they've got like 4 Morfrost on field because they've done the Morfrost line. Are they paying 8 to attack me for 4? No, they're not. They're passing turn. Blistrix, they're passing turn. Maybe the Blistrix itself will attack. That's, one attack instead of like, 2 Eye Willies and an Asprow. And then, yeah, Celestia, it stops them attacking a bit. Because like these cards are paying, well, these decks are paying more to put more things on the board, go wider. And then this says they've got to pay to attack as well. They will. Heliolith, again, if you're against artifacts, card is so good. Big fan of Heliolith right now. Non-targeting bounce, very strong. Non-targeting bounce that you don't have to wait for your opponent to attack into. And then finally, Rock in a Hard Place. I got told to play this because of Artemis. You choose Artemis, choose the Moose, and one of them is going to die. I think that is a valid reason to sideboard this card. It does come up in other situations, like if you're against a Hermes deck and they've got like something better than a Spinus deck out or a Spine Imp out, and you target the Hermes in this and the monster, and it's good. Hitting like Celestleo and their back row also will usually just result in back row removal. But yeah, I think the card is a pretty good. But that's my biggest winners and losers, or biggest winners of the format. For main deck, side deck, please, if you are wanting to play an older deck, just shove some Dense Fogs in it. But let's go through some decks and see how we go. What we can improve or remove. This is Fire Artifact. This deck, I think, still has legs. This is one of the better Firestorm decks proceeding into Lifestorm if you don't get lives. Oh, sorry. It is warm. And my mouth is dry. I'm not reshooting another bit. Alright, let's have a look at what we're removing here. First up, I'd get rid of the shields. It's bad enough that you're on Argo when Celestia pops Argo. And then what else doesn't work here? Everything else here is kind of good. Most of this stuff answers the threats of the format. The burn effect is really nice. The combat step. And then we just put in our 3 Dense Fogs, right? I think that that's just as good as anything else we can do here. We just make that swap. You can take out the PT. Oh, the Tsunami should go to side. Obviously, we don't need this anymore. So We're gonna do one of these inside. We're gonna do one of these in main, one of these inside, and then we got room for another card. What else did I take out? I don't know, something. But yeah, you see how quickly it is that we can just make some adjustments, and this deck is suddenly now playable again. And then you can like readjust the side deck. You could probably even just put a Pandora's box in main. Yeah, it's up to you what you really want to do. There's probably something else that can be removed. I don't know how good Reforge is. I could be wrong. I just don't think it's in the best place right now. But otherwise, the deck seems pretty solid. Obviously, you got to find room for Lunas, but you can probably just drop like a water. If we drop like one Eddy, we can put in a second Pandora's box. We get rid of the Eddies, and then yeah, we've got room in the side deck for whatever. I think this deck is fine right now. I think that it doesn't take a lot to take Firestorm, Fire Artifact, and make it playable in the current meta. And then I would probably just put like either Tsunami or Shield or something in here. Alright, our next list, we're going to look at, what is this? This is Bean Soldier's Bear list. Bears got no support this format, but does that make them unplayable? Well, first up, we have to get rid of those three, gone. Looks like Bean Soldier wasn't even playing Hurricane, so we don't have to worry about Hurricane. Yeah, okay. What can we change or remove or anything in here? All this stuff still seems equally good except for like this, right? And obviously those. So we get rid of these, and then we chuck in our 3 Dense Fogs. Oops. So we've got our 3 Dense Fogs, and then we can drop PTA to 2 and then put in like 2 of something. Pandora's box to slow our opponents down a bit. Sounds good. So it's not taking too much to adjust these decks. It is just some slight changes. Just make sure you're putting in Pandora's box. You're regulating the shields to the side, and then yeah, go from there. What's our next list? Clever Plan. Okay, here's like End Titan sort of stuff. I think that the spiders kind of just fell off towards the end of Firestorm anyway, so we'll take out the spider stuff entirely. This is still very playable. We get rid of this. We get rid of these, and now we can do more bug things. I don't know how good this is right now. It seems kind of eh. And I also don't know about Kinleo being. But obviously we put in the dense. Oops. Put in the dense fogs. We put in the Toxieries, and then you've still got a lot of room to play with for Luna stuff. You put in the 3rd Specs because it's kind of good right now, and then I'd probably swap the Demeters because we're no longer on spiders, and we're going to try and put in like 3 of this, and then we just make this End Titan Turbo, right? End Titan's just in a kind of good spot because Toxiery's in a good spot. It just searches Toxiery, so I think that's perfectly reasonable to do. Artemis is the last thing we want in here. Keep doing that. 3 Artemis, and then you got 3 rooms to play with. Like you can put whatever you want in here. This room is very flexible. This deck is very flexible. There's a lot to do with it. So I'd say yeah, take out the spiders, and if you wanted to play End Titan, this is your man. Alright, this is your man if you're playing End Titan right now. Alright, who have we got next? We got Coda. Coda on the. This is not the right list. I thought this was the Mono Thunder list. Oh, okay. It's a different thing. This one, the Mono Thunder list. Alright, first up, we take out the shields. Obviously, we just don't need that right now. Boombat can go to main. All this other stuff is pretty good. Obviously, we just want the Dense Fogs. I know I'm sounding like a broken record. Take out Shield, put in Dense Fog. That is the best start you can do right now. And then obviously we don't want this. And we want to regulate things to the side deck. We'll just, and then I think because you're paying so much with Thunder, you can actually just main deck the Panda boxes, right? We just put the Tsunamis in here. And then we need to move Laurels to main, so it means we need to take something else out. I think this doesn't need to be a 3-of. I think Quackle should go to 2 as well. And Zeus, I don't think Zeus is worth it right now. We'll take these out. We're going to put Quackle up to 2 because we want Quackle to be a little bit better. We want a little bit more healing because so we're going to be taking a little bit more damage. I decided them. Sort deck. And then we've still got room for like 3 cards here. Just thinking. I mean, personally, I kind of like Boombat. I did say Laurels, didn't I? So I think Laurels is just so good right now. So we do Laurels, and then we have the Jolteon, we have the Double Field Spell. Very strong. I'll just be willing to take those out for other things. Probably is just the Boombats, right? Yeah, we'll just put the Boombats in. Seems kind of nice. There's not really like much else you need to do with Thunder. Thunder's just, as I said, it's a solid deck. It was a solid deck last format. And we just need the number of removals to stay up to beat the opponents. Chronodile. Alright. We're going to come back to Chronodile. I'll show you how to fix Chronodile very soon. I've been brainstorming this. I haven't even told the other Lumaroos about this. So we will come back to that at the end. I want to just go through other decks first. We've got Julian's deck. This is Pantera. Alright, this is how we fix Pantera right now. Get rid of these. Actually, the good Sword can stay in. Aviolith to 3. Get rid of all of this sort of stuff. And then we need this in main. I don't know if we need this right now. This is just to search the good cards off the deck. We can easily put in the good Sword and get the Aviolith at 2. I think Pegas is kind of playable right now, especially if we're main decking the Monsoon. We get rid of these, we get rid of these. Get rid of this so that we can put the Tsunamis in the side deck. Adding our Dense Fogs. And then, like, we've still got a lot of room to play with. Like, what else do you want to put in? Like, obviously, guys. Guys are very good. What's a really good guy right now? There's the Whale. The Whale? Whale Light. This one? Very strong right now, in my opinion. A little bit of heal so we can sustain ourselves. Pale Aquarius only searches one thing, so what we're going to do is we're going to throw some Eddies in just to give it some more options. I think Eddie is still a very nice format. Yeah, it just seems kind of fine. Could maybe go for a little more back row, but you never know. Alright, we're on Justin's deck. This is just good cards. Just good cards. Genuinely, I think it would just be this, these, and then, yeah, then you just add your Dense Fogs, right? Obviously, you've got to adjust your spirits for all these decks. We just add our Dense Fogs. I think we're okay there. Maybe even the third PTA seems okay. Yeah, I think this deck is good as it is. Doesn't need a lot of changes. Perky on Nixamira. I'm going to be real, I don't know Nixamira. I don't know enough about Nixamira to really balance a lot. We're just going to do our default trick here. That's pretty much all we need. We put the Luna up to like 2 or 3. I don't know what we're losing out on. I guess water. Yeah, we're losing out on water because we also shouldn't be on Tsunami in main. So we can drop a water or 2. You do, obviously with this being Lunar Enchanted, it doesn't get Dense Fogged. Good stuff happens all the time. So yeah, I think that the deck is in a decent spot right now. I just don't know enough about the deck to be like, yeah, this is definitely how to play this. So it's up to you guys to figure out what's missing from that. I'm just giving little tips. Little tips. Get rid of this card. We main deck this card. This is just, yeah, solar stuff. Obviously, is it when you cast a solar rune, so it doesn't really come up a lot. This is, again, just good stuff. Solar control, eh? Yeah. Seems kind of fine. Again, this is one I'm not overly familiar with. You'll have to tweak it if you're interested. But alright, here's the part you're here for. This is what you're wanting. Dooms. The Dooms Chronodile list, is it still good? Now, Dooms actually played this list pretty much unchanged for the event. So we will go through it. We're going to go for like the last premiere. But we will just get rid of this card. Obviously, it doesn't do much right now. And the water, again, needs to be regulated to the sideboard for the tsunamis. So what else can we do to fix this deck? Well, the next thing we need to do is... Your game plan is no longer Nomadial, because they can just dense fog this. So we don't bother with the Nomadial, because they can just hit it with a dense fog. And now you've got a guy on the board that's just goofy and does nothing. You may as well have just played Sundial to make Nomadial. And then the next thing we got to remove, like we need to address the fact that there is so much non-targeting removal in Solar right now that Chronodile doesn't have the right level of protection. And for that reason, we take the Chronodile out. And I personally think the best way to play the Chronodile deck is honestly just not play it. Just take out all these cards. And these. And then we put in 3 of these. Very good Chronodile deck so far. I probably should have kept those Galaxies in, because I am going to end up just putting them back in. Galaxies very nice right now. Where is it? The water whale. Yeah, so this is, a really strong foundation for a really strong Chronodile list right now. We remove the Chronodile and we put in good cards. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of how the format has landed, because Solar gets non-targeting removal. That's their gimmick. Their gimmick is they get more gimmicks to make up a gimmick each time. Anyway, for those of you that are still waiting on live stream and still going to be waiting on live stream for an unknown amount of time, I hope that you've got some ideas and tips from this that we can, hopefully help you keep up with. Not necessarily win. I don't know if you'll be able to win with all this sort of stuff. You probably can't, because those decks are insane in live stream. But I think with some good play, just like good player skill, and a bit of just idea of which direction you're heading, you can do a lot with the existing card pool that is available to most players in the game. The existing card pool available to all players, compared to the one that's only available to 40%, it feels like. If you didn't attend Kissimmee, you're probably still waiting. Yeah, I think they kind of jumped the gun on hosting a premiere event before they'd sorted out their stock issues. Like, guys, why is Distro not got it? The set released 2-3 weeks ago. To me, that's not good enough. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully some of this was insightful, especially for those of you that are a little less confident with the game. Obviously the pros know all the cards that are good. There's probably, someone like MG1, who I am sure watches my content, would probably be laughing at me right now. Like, this guy's an idiot, he knows nothing. But I think that just for those who don't know, this is a lot of it's a good starting point. Put your laurels in, put your dense fog in, and then go from there. Toodaloo.